over the weekend, Bill Russell passed away, and he means so much to so many, both on and off the basketball floor. But before we discuss his impact off the floor, let's talk about his on-court achievements. Look at what he has achieved in his career as a player.
The original NBA forefather, Jacoby, 11 championships in 13 seasons. All respect due to Jerry West, but the gentleman you're looking at right there should actually be the logo of the NBA. He also was the first African-American coach in the league as well. And the beautiful thing about Bill Russell, rebound the basketball with tenacity, changed and blocked basically every shot that came down the paint. And his infectious leadership and personality. If you see that highlight right there, that's left shoulder, left hand. There's also footage of him turning, shooting his right hand bank shot also. And so his ability to change ends of the floor and affect winning. I talk about this a lot. The rings and things we sing about, he can definitely bring them out. And if your list of top players of all time gets past 3 or 4 and it doesn't mention Bill Russell, it just means that you either weren't young enough to see him play, which I wasn't old enough to see him play, or you're not student enough for the game to recognize his greatness. And so many times, and people do that over errors. You want to minimize the error behind yours, because I don't care if it's movies, I don't care if it's music, I don't care if it's sports. We all want our era to have the best. And so as time has passed by and youngsters are gonna see this grainy footage and sometimes not appreciate the athleticism and the ability to not only be dominant, but historically dominant. And when y'all look deeper into that footage, there's another guy that he was going against toe-to-toe. His name was Wilt Chamberlain. And those two guys embody everything as it relates to dominance. Wilt Chamberlain, the most dominant offensive weapon the game has seen, hence averaging 50 points in a game, competed against Bill Russell in the era where Bill Russell was leading the league in the rebounds, leading the league in blocks, and stopping Wilt Chamberlain from winning championships, stopping Jerry West from winning championships. Jerry West is what, 1-7 in the finals? 1-8 in the finals? Like, because of the Celtics' great dominance and Red Auerbach's ability to not only help integrate the NBA in a lot of ways, because the Celtics were one, if not the first teams to start an all-black starting lineup. And for those that didn't know, Bill Russell won 2 championships in college. And as a dominant collegiate player, that rolled over into the NBA. And so we lost an NBA forefather, an icon. And as you know, in my own space, not an all-time great player, not a multi-time all-star, like I had a relationship with Bill Russell. I have a relationship with his wife, Janine. And for those who have been watching this show, y'all have seen us promote his auctions. Y'all seen us talk about what he does. But here's something I want to also acknowledge that's extremely important. Ran the floor like a gazelle, Jacoby. Changed ends of the floor 4 or 5 men like a gazelle. On a day where we celebrate Bill Russell, and we're going to continue to celebrate him, and he deserves it, I'm just so very proud that in the 10 years that we've done this show, as many of these years as possible, that I have him right over my right shoulder. And this picture over my shoulder, ladies and gentlemen, is the most iconic picture in the history of sports. The gentleman on the far left, that was Lou Alcindor as a 19-year-old before he came Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The gentleman next to him, that's Jim Brown, the greatest running back to ever play in the NFL. The person sitting next to him, that's Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time as it related to boxing. And so Bill Russell was an iconic figure clearly on the floor, but more iconic off of it. As somebody that was born in the 70s, Jacoby, my childhood, you know the Bill Russell I got to know? The Bill Russell as a child, as a fan. Yeah, I was watching Dr. J. I was watching Magic Johnson. I was watching Larry Bird. But you know what I was learning about Bill Russell? Activism and giving back to the community. Yep. And how about that infectious smile that he has and that huge laugh that lights up a room? The gentleman, deservedly so, won a Presidential Medal of Freedom. A Presidential Medal of Freedom. An iconic, historic individual that overcame so much off the floor. And one of the stories that I thought was urban legend when I was a youngster growing up, and this was still where our country was like trying to grapple with like coming out of Jim Crow laws. It was the urban legend about Bill Russell returning home and having feces all over his house. Like, I remember hearing about that story. And the one thing about him playing in Boston is when he retired and he had celebrations for him, like to retire his number, he did it basically in the privacy of those that he loved and teammates, because he felt like he wasn't celebrated and embraced by the fans because he was a black man.